Happy Monday, everybody. It's Mr. Marquardt here. Hope you all had a wonderful weekend. I am currently recording this on Sunday morning before the Packer game, so hoping for a good game today. That means that the Packers are going to be moving to the Super Bowl, so fingers crossed that's the case when you're all watching this on Monday. So, a couple announcements for the week. Homework Collection 2 is going to be posted on this upcoming Friday, so the lessons that are going to be on that are this homework from last week, Thursday, today's homework, tomorrow's homework, and then the homework from this coming Thursday as well. We're going to have a quiz on Wednesday, and then the test for Chapter 3, the second part, because we did Part A in first semester. Part B is going to be Wednesday next week, and we'll talk about that more in live class tomorrow, and then also in live class on Thursday. So be on the lookout for that. So first things we're going to do is put the answers up for the homework, and then we're going to finish 332 Part B as we go through the video today. So first things first, here are the homework answers. Again, being a video, pause them, check your answers. If you have any questions, let your grading teacher know. Otherwise, let's jump in here. So 332, last week, Thursday, we started talking about solving equations with multiple variables. So if we have more than one variable, if we want to solve for one of those, we just want to rearrange that equation to get our desired variable by itself. Otherwise, if there's just one variable, we're just trying to find the number that makes that, or that we can plug in for that variable that makes that equation true. So that's the two situations that we know so far. We're going to get a little bit more practice with that today. So let's jump in to 390. So we're going to start with number 90, part A, and we want to solve for y. So as we look through this equation, the only variable that we have is this y right there. So that's what we are trying to get by itself as we try to solve this equation. So as we look at this, 2 times the quantity of y minus 3 is equal to 4. So we have 2 times everything in the parentheses here. So what I want to do is let's maybe divide by 2 before we distribute. So if we have to have those things multiplied together, we're trying to get y by itself. Instead of distributing and adding a step, let's just divide both sides by 2. Which is going to make these 2 out in front cancel here. So we are left with y minus 3 is equal to 4 divided by 2, which hopefully we all know is 2. And then lastly, if we want to get that y by itself, we have to add a 3 to both sides. So we have to add a 3 to both sides. And then the 3's cancel on the left. So our y is equal to 5 for part A. All right, I'm going to skip part B, do that one on your own. Check that one in the filled in notes a little bit later. I'm going to show us C though, because this is a little bit different. Now we have 2 variables. We have 6x plus y, and then we have 2y plus 8. And again, we want to solve for y. So we want to combine like terms across our equal sign, and we want to solve for y. So this time we're going to have 2 variables. We just want to get everything in terms of y here. So let's see here. So we have 2y on the right hand side. We've got just a positive y on the left. I like to always subtract from the bigger number of y's. So let's start by subtracting a y from both sides. So if we subtract y from the left and from the right, they cancel over here. So we are left with 6x is equal to, we have 2y minus 1y, so we're just left with y plus 8. All right, now we got one more step to go to get that y by itself, so we got to move this 8 to the left-hand side of our equation here. So if we subtract 8 from both sides, if we subtract 8, those cancel on the right, and we are left with 6x minus 8 is equal to y. So if we just rearrange this, let's take this y and move it over here to the left-hand side. If we say y is equal to 6x minus 8, it means exactly the same thing. But now this looks like a line, like our slope-intercept form, where we'd have a line with a slope of 6. Our intercept is negative 8. And again, we kind of took that line, which would be in standard form here. If we combine, then we would be able to get that equation here like we have. So y equals 6x minus 8 is how we would solve for y for part C. Again, do D on your own. Check the filled in notes for that one in a minute. Otherwise, let's keep going here. Let's go to 91 at the top of the very next page. So let's do, again, A and C, B and D are going to be for you to do. Let's do A first. So we want to solve for x, given the equation y equals minus 2x plus 5. Y is equal to minus 2x plus 5. So we want to solve for x. So this is the value that we're trying to get all by itself. Whenever we're solving, we're trying to get that one all alone. So first thing I think we should do, we got y equals minus 2x plus 5. Let's get this plus 5 over to the left-hand side of our equation here. So let's subtract 5 from both sides. So our 5's cancel on the right. So we are left with y minus 5 is equal to minus 2x. So again, that's negative 2 times x here. So if we have negative 2 times x, in order to undo that multiplication and get x by itself, we have to divide both sides by negative 2. So we're dividing everything here by negative 2. So if we cancel those negatives here, what we are left with would be y over negative 2. Here, when we have that negative 5 over negative 2, so this term, we have a negative over a negative. So those are going to offset and create a positive term, so that we would be left with plus 5 over 2. And then that is still equal to, on the right-hand side, x. And that's what we were trying to solve in the first place, trying to solve for x, get x all by itself. So when we do that, in this case, we get y over negative 2 plus 5 halves is equal to x. Oops, let's get rid of that if we're going to box it, make it look a little bit nicer. Perfect. Again, try B on your own. We're going to do C for one more practice problem today, and then we'll let you do D on your own as well. So C, last one for this video. We have x squared plus 4y is equal to the quantity of x plus 6 times the quantity of x minus 2. All right, so what we got to do is solve for y. So this is the term that we got to get by itself, is that 4y. And then at some point probably divide by 4 if we're looking down the road. So before we can do that, before we can try to solve for y, let's distribute 6 or x plus 6 and then x minus 2. So again, when we distribute or double distribute like this, we want to take this x in the first parentheses and multiply it by the first x, and then multiply it by the second term in that second set of parentheses. And then we want to circle back and do the same thing with that 6. So take that 6 times that x in the second set of parentheses, and then take that 6 and multiply it by that negative 2. So I'm going to write this out in a couple extra steps here, just in case we are still struggling with that double distribution. But on the left-hand side, nothing changes yet, so it's still x squared plus 4y is equal to, when we do x times x, that's that first term, so it's x times x. And again, whenever we see just a single x like that, it's always raised to the first power. Always to the first power. Then we have x times negative 2. So this is going to be plus x times a negative 2. Then we have, let's see here, a 6 times x. And then finally, we can multiply those last two terms together. So we have plus 6 times a negative 2. Times negative 2. So perfect, let's multiply these together. So again, left-hand side doesn't change yet. X squared plus 4y. All right, we've got x times x to the first times x to the first. We got to follow our exponent rules here because our bases are the same. So we have to add those variables together, or not add the variables, add the exponents. So x times x is going to get us x squared. X times 2x, or negative 2, sorry, x times negative 2 is going to be a minus 2x. We just multiply those two terms together. We can't really simplify too much there. 6 times x is just positive 6x. And then last but not least, 6 times negative 2 is minus 12. So before we get too crazy here, let's simplify our combined like terms on the right-hand side, and then we'll go across the equal signs. So that still means we have x squared plus 4y is equal to, now we have x squared, our like terms are minus 2x and then plus 6x. So to combine those two, we get plus 4x and then finally subtracting 12. All right, so now we're simplified on the left side and the right side. Now let's try to get that y by itself. We can finally start solving for y. So first, let's move this x squared term on the left-hand side to the right. So let's subtract x squared from both sides. So that should mean that that x squared term on the left and the right is going to cancel. So it cancels here, cancels here, cancels and cancels. So we're left with 4y is equal to 4x minus 12. So again, we have 4 times y. So if we want to undo multiplication to get that y by itself, we have to divide everything by 4. So divide 4x by 4, divide negative 12 by 4. So then the 4's cancel here, 4's cancel here. Then we have negative 12 divided by 4, which I think if we simplify that, we would get y is equal to x, and then 12 divided by 4, and it's negative 12, so it's going to be minus 3. So again, we just solved for y. Y is all by itself, so y is equal to x minus 3. Perfect. Again, try B and D on your own for 91 and 90. Check the filled in notes to double check your work, but hopefully solving is going to be a little bit easier after watching this and after getting some practice last week as well. So the homework for tonight, everybody, is 332 Part B, questions 99 through 104. We'll post those answers tomorrow in class, so bring questions if you got them. Otherwise, look forward to seeing everybody in live class tomorrow. Go Pack Go, and have a great Monday, everyone.